Heart First leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast. Welcome back to the Integrated Mindset Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Heidi Sawyer, along with my husband and fellow coach, Ryan Sawyer. And today we're talking about keeping up momentum and this idea of just going as far as you can see. Some of the key points that we discuss in this podcast episode are how perfectionism can hold us back from achieving our goals or moving towards our bigger vision because we get caught in a place of it never being good enough. We talk about how successful people can take risks to push themselves, and they're willing to take the leap without knowing all of the answers because they realize this key truth that the dots will never be connected looking forward. They can only be connected going backward. So whether you're a parent, a leader, a business owner, or maybe you're just moving through something that feels dark and difficult right now, we want you to know that there's going to be days that you're going to feel that fire in your belly and be ready to go out and crush it. And there's going to be days where it's hard to just get going for the day. We're going to share with you some tips and some strategies that you can use to keep up that momentum and to keep going even when things feel uncertain. Here at Integrated Human Performance, we are all about becoming the leader of your own life and being the catalyst for transformation in the next generation. So I wanted to let you know that doors are now open for our Integrated Performance for Leaders program. This is our signature 12-week program where you can learn to become a master of human performance. Within our 12-week program, we offer 2 phases that help you to focus on the 4 pillars of human performance, which are nutrition and sleep, breath and movement, mindset and mindfulness, and of course, personal discovery. We are offering an incredible introductory bundle that is a tremendous value. It includes our Integrated Human Performance quarterly planner and journal, as well as some amazing bonuses, including access to our breath and meditation course as well. So head on over to ihpcoaching.com/leaders for all the details and to join us for this first fall cohort. Without further ado, let's jump into our conversation.
Welcome to the Integrated Mindset Podcast. This is Ryan and Heidi Sawyer back again, and we are joining you here on this Friday afternoon to talk about this idea and concept about just keep showing up, to stay in the fight, to see right in front of yourself, the 6 inches in front of yourself, and to keep chopping wood no matter what. Because here we are, the authentic story, and why we were kind of giggling before I hit record was because we had, I don't know how many different topics we want to get to. I would say there's probably 100 to 150 different ideas that we've written down for the podcast. And today we had an idea in our mind. We show up, we get on Zoom. She's upstairs, I'm downstairs. And then we kind of look at each other like, I don't know. What do you think? And yesterday we were all inspired and all this inspiration was there. And then today I trained really hard for about 4 or 5 hours. And so I was kind of feeling a little bit depleted. And then we thought, I don't know, but let's just hit record and see what comes up. And so the idea was to say, like, you know, you're not going to feel like it every day.
Amen to that.
So how you doing? You good?
How am I doing?
Yeah. You ready for this?
I'm ready. We were also laughing because, before we got on here, I said, just something I say a lot. I said, just rip the Band-Aid. Just do it.
You
just hit
boom.
Record.
Boom.
And then I said, boom.
Boom.
And we were laughing. Anyways, little bit of behind the scenes. But I guess the point is, perfectionism and wanting to have all the answers and wanting to be so intentional that you have everything planned out holds a lot of people back, right? I know it's definitely held me back in my life from a lot of things that I wanted. And one of the things that I see in people who are really successful in life is that they often start moving and going towards a goal without having all the dots connected up front. They have a vision and they're moving towards it. And then later you can look back and see how all those dots connected to get you to where you are. And I think that's important to keep in mind, because it's easy to get stuck in that wanting to have all the answers or wanting to do something perfectly, when the truth is what the world needs more of is just people showing up, being authentic, and being real about what it looks like to be on a growth journey and to be trying something new. So that's what we're doing.
So whether you're somebody who's a parent and you are just trying to be a better parent, like we all are, like any involved parents trying to be a better parent all the time, whether you're launching a business or you're trying to grow a business, or you're just in a self-development, like a transformational journey where you're, trying, like we've both been there, and you're overcoming something that's dark and dense, and whatever it is, like there are going to be days where you're going to be on fire and it's going to be clear and you're going to be like, yeah. And then there's going to be days where you're like, I'm just kind of operating, or even more of a dip. And this natural curve, this natural sense of almost a little bit of a roller coaster is part of our growth journeys. Like it's not just one linear upward trajectory angle that is like, oh, once I decided that I'm going to do this thing, then here I go. Right. The ebbs and the flows are constant, may not even be day by day, might even be moment by moment, and, I just take this, for example, like this right here, where we currently are as a business, in the sense of our coaching, podcasting, speaking, writing, author, all the things that we're doing, right? Collectively, the two of us. If you guys knew how many times we have rebranded, redid the website, launched something saying, this is it, we got it. And okay, we're going to be together, but then no, we're going to be separate. Then now we're going to, okay, no, it's been a revolving door over and over. The realization is very clear though, is that like we have made a commitment. We have just flat out decided, like, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. We have a big vision, and the vision is great, right? We have a concept of a life, this dream life that we want to be living. And it's a beautiful thing. Like it's, oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Well, then it comes back down to like the ability to set a small, achievable, what we call micro goal, right? And legitimately, like in the sense of any life obstacle or challenge or goal, is how good are you at living within the 6 inches in front of your face? Because you can get lost in all the to-do lists, right? We've experienced this multiple times where you look at your to-do list and you're just like, oh, but in all reality, like probably even none of it actually has to be done today. This is a to-do list for the next 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, potentially even, right? And so it's really easy for us to get caught in a place where we are allowing for the dips to then continue, and then momentum begins to go in the wrong direction eventually. Well, you've talked about this a lot. So how do we keep ourselves in the fight? And how do we just keep showing up regardless of kind of how we feel about it? What's our day in, day out energy difference and variance there? And how do we make sure we're constantly pushing that boulder in the direction that we want it to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A couple different things that come to mind. Yes. Having that master list of things that you want to work towards is really powerful, but we have to be honest with ourselves about where our capacity is on a day-to-day basis. And so being able to look at what you have for a specific month, a week, a day, and look at realistically, what is my capacity today? Do I have kids in the house with me? And that's going to create a little bit less bandwidth to be able to do certain things that take more focus. And where is my energy level at? And am I doing the things that need to be done in order to manage that energy, right? So there's certain things that we can do to manage our energy and to increase our energy on a daily basis, right? We know sleep is important, nutrition, getting some movement, sun exposure, those types of things in on a daily basis will help maximize where we're at energy wise. But we also have to be radically honest with ourselves about where is my capacity today? And then taking that one next step in front of our face. Like you said, those 6 inches in front of your face. What is it right now? What's one thing that I can do to keep moving forward rather than thinking if I don't push the whole boulder up the hill today, then I'm a total failure and why bother? We are all leaders. If you're ready to stop waiting and start impacting your environment in a powerful way, we want to connect with you. Click the Book Now link in the show notes to book a call with a Heart First coach and discover what Heart First leadership can look like in your life and in your environment. Now back to the show.
Now, you said something that reminded me of a story. It's a couple of years ago, maybe, I don't know how many years, maybe 3, where I already had very much so birthed this journey that we're currently on, like where we are right now. Like it was already in my mind. I had created that, and here it is. We were doing it together, and so like part of this path where I have legitimately have asked you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, like just join forces with me. Like we would be so powerful together. Like we don't have to be individually, separate and doing our own thing to like prove something. We can just do this together. And so like it took a level of optimism. It took a level of faith. It took a level of just consistency of like always embracing the idea of you stepping into your power, which for me felt like us being side by side. Right. And now here we are being side by side doing this, and it feels aligned, but takes me back to this post that I had years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but I came home and it was, I think, a Thursday, and it was 100 degrees, and I was still every single day out in the field painting. And it was one of those days where, the pump breaks down and the rope breaks on the ladder. And
so if you guys are listening, we own a residential painting company as well as one of our businesses. But at this time, sounds like you were working in the business.
Yeah, I was fully in it. I was still doing the sales. I was estimating. I was scheduling. I was running the whole entire show by myself. Plus, I was the main sprayer, foreman. I mean, every single component of it.
I'm curious about what this story is, what you're going to say here.
Yeah, so I came home, and I don't know if you can see this, but this is the picture.
Okay, yeah.
As I'm driving home, I remember, because that morning I was like, yeah, I'm motivated. Like, I know that I'm going to get this company to a place where I'm going to step out of it. Like, I can clearly see this next life we're living. Like, I remember this visceral feeling like nothing could stop me. And then I'm driving home that day, 8, 10, 12 hours later, whatever, beat up, torn down, and, felt like I just worked all day, and, things didn't go right. So we didn't make money that day, and just feeling defeated, completely defeated. And I remember I pull into the driveway, and it triggered that experience of me hopping in my truck all optimistic that morning, like I'm going to go crush it today. Right. Even to the point where you remember I used to walk out of the house every single day. Like I'd be chanting, if you remember that.
Pumping yourself up for the day.
Yeah.
Get out there and do it again.
It took that. It took me being like, we got this, Sawyers, let's go. Right. Or whatever that looked like. So I'm pulling in the driveway, and it triggered the memory that morning I was on fire. But right now in this moment, I legitimately can't see 6 inches in front of my face. I can't see it. I can't see me ever getting out of this painting company. I can't see, me ever getting the opportunity to spend my days how I currently am right now, where I get to train, and I write, and I podcast, and I coach, and I teach, and I'm living life the way I have designed it and the way I want to. But in that moment, there was no chance of it in my mind.
Yeah.
It was gone. So then I pulled you outside and I said, Heidi, I want you to take a picture of me. And I, paint covered all over my face, my hands, whatever. And I put my hands up in front of the camera like this. And I'm so glad that I had you do that, because I remember thinking, I can't see 6 inches in front of my face. Take a picture of this so I remember what this feels like. So the next time I'm there, I don't make it mean anything. And I keep going no matter what, right? I keep going no matter what. And if I told you, wow, I'm actually getting the most, if I told you how many times I've had to overcome that those moments of doubt, those moments of lack of clarity, those moments of just, it's not going to work, or whatever the narrative is, like, but the what you're overcoming is the visceral experience of feeling trapped, or a feeling lack of feeling doubt.
Mm-hmm. Like
right?
you're never going to get there. You're always going to be in the same station in life that you are in that moment.
Yeah. And the interesting piece about that is, like, a little bit of brain science is the brain will collapse time when there's these moments of a very dipped experience into a constrictive experience, a lower vibration of fear, of doubt. The brain a lot of times will collapse time to say, this is how it's always going to be. This is how it's always going to be. So don't even try. Right.
I think of that like times that I've been really sick. And when you're sick, it's like, man, I'm never going to feel good. That, it seems like it just drags on. And it's sort of like that, a healthy person has a million wishes and a sick person has one. It's like just to get out of that experience, But it does, your brain does, it's like the mind does collapse time, and it tells you this is how it's always going to be. And it's hard to see other possibility when you're in that moment. And I'm sure a lot of people listening, if they're maybe in a job that it's not really where they want to be, or they're working toward some type of goal that feels so far down the road, they can relate to that. They can relate to that feeling of like, okay, I've, been working so hard and I'm not seeing myself getting there, and just trying to keep that hope alive and trying to stay motivated and keep that momentum going in a positive direction, even if it's just like a tiny little micro step.
You cannot take for granted the idea or the concept of being 1% better every day. Like, to just invest in yourself enough and in your vision of your future self, of your future lifestyle, of whatever that may be, right? Of your future marriage. I mean, legit, that's been part of all the work that I do internally of visualizing and of goal setting and all the things that we do. We're not going to talk about visualization today, but part of it has been being very clear and descriptive about how you have stepped into your power, how you have found balance and passion in your life, which then feeds into our relationship, because now the environment that I'm in is one where it's like, I have to step my game up. Look at that girl go, right? You know what I mean? I've always seen you as incredibly powerful. So my point to you is that, we cannot take that for granted, that legitimately you're not going to notice it. And I don't know what the actual saying is. I've heard this before, motivational speakers or whatever, like a plane leaves from New York and it's 1% off course, and it's destination
like 1 degree or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 1 degree. I'm sorry, did I say percent? Yeah, 1 degree off course, and it was supposed to land in Seattle, ends up landing in Los Angeles or something of the sorts. I'm probably botching that.
You know what we're saying. Yeah.
But that's the reality. That's the reality of life, that we can have the greatest idea or concept for our lives. We can want something to be different. And, maybe there's a few small examples of people waking up and the next day their life is completely different. Maybe that happens, right? To some, I know the people of their stories of it, right? whether it be winning the lotto or, even, Byron Katie tells a story
being
of
miraculously healed or whatever
sure.
that looks like. Right.
Yeah, those things happen. Those things happen. But for the majority of us, especially the ones of us with children and families and that are, having to provide for others, right? You and I, we joke about this and we're going to say this in a loving way. Like we're never really impressed with people who don't have kids because it's like, can you imagine all the extra free time, money and resources would be freed up if you weren't constantly taken after, but my point is.
Yeah. In the personal development world, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, you got to go out and crush it and whatever.
And
we're like,
world.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you have? What's going on at your house? You got a lot more time. That's a little bit of
that's an off trail. But my point is like just that ability, because that's just another thing that you have on your plate, which means that your potential progress towards that worthy ideal is going to be a little bit of a slower chug. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a little bit slower churning of a circle. Right. And to legitimately like train yourself to continue to just to see that 6 inches in front of your face. And one of the things that, and maybe I should do it again, but I had a piece of paper printed off and we posted it on the door as we walked out to the garage. I posted it on the door.
at our old house. Yeah.
And I had different sayings over the years, but the one that resonated with me the most, that stayed up for a couple of years, was go as far as you can see. Right? Just go as far as you can see, because some days that was legitimately like in front of my face.
Yeah.
Other days, go ahead.
People who have, I remember when we first got into doing network marketing, when we had our network marketing business, we were really into that. It's like, I was working full time and I could see this vision for creating something different, but man, you're still in the day to day doing the do at your job. And so being able to go as far as you can see in those moments where it feels like you don't have a lot of capacity to do other things is huge.
Yeah. Because it's not going to always be clear, and you can't see, like you've said this 100 times, you can't connect the dots looking forward. Right. So the only option that we have is to go as far as we can see and then look around and say, okay, from here, now how far can I see? Right. Because in all reality, the fact that we've been able to, in the last couple of years, when we decided that we were going to go to this place to build the painting company to the level that we have, and then now that we're fairly removed, and then now we have goals in the next 6 or 9 months to be like completely out of it, right? And have it to be sustainable with a group of employees that we're empowering and we're bettering their lives. Like that's a day in, day out decision that's going to have to take place. Of like, hey, what's the next thing? Well, let's send out 5,000 flyers. Okay, what's the next thing? Okay, let's do this. Well, we got to train somebody to be a salesman. Okay, let's do that. And it's legitimately, it's a decision by decision journey that gets us to that experience. It's not one day waking up and being like, I'm motivated, I'm going to change the world. Like motivation, that type of inspiration just does not last. It just does not last. But what makes a difference is our ability to operate in that space right in front of our face.
I think I love what Martha Beck, she's Oprah's life coach. She's written several really excellent books, but one of the things that she says is you have to scale up to get a different perspective, to get that, what she calls eagle vision. So you go way up and you see the whole landscape and you see kind of the potential of where you could be going, and that, oh, there's a river over there and there's somewhere else over here to go. And then you go back down, and you see the blade of grass in front of you. And that's about all you can see. And you take a mouse step and you just keep moving. And periodically you scale back up You check that eagle vision. And sometimes that takes having a mentor or a coach or someone who can help you to see that for yourself. Because when you're in it in the day to day, it helps to have someone go, you know what? But yeah, there's so much more. Think about this. Focus on this. Let's imagine what that could be like. So sometimes it takes having a mentor or someone in your life that can help you get that eagle perspective. And then you go back down and you take that next little logical step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The word that comes to mind when you were saying that, and it's one of my favorite words, and it's maybe the most important word I believe, in this type of journey where we're striving, we're wanting change, we're transforming, we're pushing, we're growing businesses, we're raising families, we're trying to become leaders, whatever it is, it's acceptance. Like acceptance of the moment as it is doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. It just means that I'm willing to be in this arena of wherever I'm at. That's going to allow for me to move to the next. And legitimately, I'm not going to go into all the brain science behind this, but there's something called the noticing circuit. Then noticing circuits go to liking circuits. And what that means basically is when we just notice where we are and accept it turns on this accepting awareness, this what you would consider to be in mindfulness world, the non-judgmental awareness, but I like to call it accepting awareness. And when I say, okay, here it is, this is the dogfight that I'm currently in, then we actually open ourselves up to no longer resist it and to receive whatever knowledge, information, lesson that we need to learn, that then allows for us to actually see how we're going to get out of it, how we're going to get to the next plateau.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This was connecting a dot when you were saying that. I was picturing this like a log on top of a boulder, like picture a teeter-totter. And on one end is this, what you said, we're in a dogfight, the focus on the absence of the thing that you want. It's not here yet. On the other end is like all this possibility. And then this noticing that accepting, what did you call it? Accepting awareness?
Accepting awareness, yeah.
Is, let's say the weight is on the lack side of the teeter-totter. That awareness brings it back to the middle. Yeah. And once you bring the momentum back to the middle, now you can start to explore the other side. The ball can start to roll down to the other end of it. That's a
beautiful illustration, Heidi. I mean, legitimately, I love that. We might have to write that down. Like legitimately, this is what has to happen for change to happen.
You have to tip the scale.
But you have acceptance has to come first.
Right. You got to get to a neutral place about it.
Yep. You got to come to a place of acceptance. Right. And maybe I've told this story before on a podcast, or maybe I get my stories mixed up, but I'm driving down I-90. It was shortly after that picture was taken, because that day really took it out of me. That week, I remember it. It was one of those weeks where it was just like, you're throwing your biggest punch and it's not landing. It's not phasing the guy in front of you. Right. You know what I mean? You're Rocky Balboa in the beginning of, fighting Ivan Drago. And it's like, you're fighting this monster. Right. We just watched Rocky a couple of times because it was my birthday last week and I love Rocky movies. So that's where that came from. But I remember I'm driving down I-90 and I'm on the phone with a good friend, Connor. And, we talk consistently. And I said, you know what? I'm just at this place of acceptance. I'm just, here I am. I'm going to, just accept the fact, maybe I'm a painter forever. I don't know, but I'm going to stop resisting the current experience that I need to, if I want to get out of this experience, that I need to just build this thing. And I'm just going to go all in on it. I'm just going to be in it. I'm not going to judge it anymore. Right. And it was legitimately like, the days and weeks and months that followed that experience, a visceral experience. It's not a concept in our mind. It's legitimately a visceral experience of like this softening, this letting go and being like, all right, what do I got to do? What do I got to do next? What's the next thing I got to do? All right. Well, and just being willing. And the thing about this is it becomes a practice. right?
Yeah.
And anything that you practice or rehearse, you get better at, and it's who you become. So the more you practice acceptance, and acceptance is not this like, oh, it is what it is. Like, no, it is what it is right
Yeah.
now. And then
That's being completely passive, right?
yeah. And then so
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, here it is. This is the struggle. Here's the obstacle. Here's the jungle I'm in. Here's the dogfight I'm in now. Okay. I'm not going to resist it. So what am I going to focus on? Where am I going to beam my attention and my awareness to? Right. And what can I control? And what's that one thing I can do? Right. And sometimes, like, for us to be where we are right now, it was legitimately, it was me spending 15 minutes writing on the computer before I had to head out of the house at 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning to get to a job site or whatever it was. Right. It was, sometimes it was 15 minutes and sometimes I had an hour, or sometimes it was nothing. Sometimes it was just like, just go work. Like, that's what you need to do right now. You need to go earn, you need to go produce. And so acceptance, and again, we don't need to flip it to the other side of acceptance, because it has two different sides of the coin, where then you actually, in the next moment, and we're not going to go down too far down this road, because then it kind of goes into visualization and stuff. But this idea of like, okay, here's the fight I'm in. And then in the next moment, like, accepting a different possibility. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where you're putting your beam of attention.
Yeah. Once you do that, what you're saying is bringing me back almost to that same time period. And I'm thinking about being I was in a corporate role where I ended up in a corporate office in a cubicle. And I just kept thinking, how do I transcend this environment? How do I sit here and know that there's so much more beyond this space and time? And a lot of what I learned from that experience was that acceptance led to me looking at, okay, how can I pour greatness into whatever it is that's mine to do right now? Because if I want to be great, there's not only one opportunity to be great, right? Being your own boss, or having this life of time freedom, or all these things that at that time I wanted but didn't have yet. There's many ways that we can be great at wherever we are in this present moment in life. But first we have to allow ourselves just to be present to what's there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we're saying, right? This acceptance is to say, like, if you are, like, for me, it was like, I'm going to be the best darn painter in Spokane has ever seen. Right. And I think about, even if anybody's familiar with Dave MacArthur, he talked about the same thing when he was, going from being a mechanic, and he was depressed, and but he started to learn how the universe, kind of these laws, these universal principles are going to govern our lives and our experience. And he was like spending his extra time cleaning up other mechanics' spaces. And he was and some people would say it's like making your bed, right? Like, be the best at handling whatever the obstacle you currently are in. Right. And that's what's going to allow for you to move to the next experience, because legitimately it's about deriving the gift. It's about learning the lesson, and that's what's going to then be like, oh, this is what needs to be done next. So, just because you're at a new plateau doesn't mean that it's going to be, and the noticing the liking, what I was trying to say is, the noticing and liking doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be comfortable. Right?
Yeah. You're like, oh, all of a sudden I love this cubicle. Yes. I want to be here in this space for 8 hours.
Well, and legitimately, when you came to this place of acceptance with it, was the next day where I said, all right, here's your two options, and it was either, tell them you're going to work from home, or you're going to put in your 2-week resignation. Right. And that was
one thing led to the next, to where now I'm completely, been out of that role for 2 years at this point. And, but at that time it's like, okay, we need this job. So how will I choose to be with what I'm having right now? And, how can I create an opportunity to grow myself to where I outgrow this?
Yeah.
Also, because I think then we're going to create new opportunities for ourselves. And like I said, you can't connect those dots going forward, but you can definitely see, looking back, okay, deciding to really go all in on this thing did help me to get to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing
Yep.
down the way. But I think it's also just looking at from a day-to-day perspective, getting that eagle vision, going up as far as you can see and getting help to see a broader perspective if you feel like you're really down in the trenches and you need help seeing that. And then taking those next steps and being honest with yourself about what your capacity is from day to day, and not expecting that you're going to, build a masterpiece every day. You may just put one little brick in that day.
That's how it's going to be built regardless.
Right.
That's how it's going to be built regardless. So, all right. Yeah. So let's come to a spot where what's our takeaways from today? And then what's an actionable step that we can pull out of this?
Yeah. So I think I just said a couple of them is looking at a broader perspective, understanding intentionally, where is it that you want to be? If you're not where you want to be right now, even if you're happy with your current experience, what can you see for yourself?
Yeah. Project forward.
Yeah.
So the ability for me, it's and every different stage of growing, I'm falling in love with this of growing businesses. It just lights me up. It's what I love to do. It's, this idea of taking the company, the painting company from X to Z, it just lights me up to see how that's going to unfold. The idea of launching where we're launching our integrated performance for leaders program. And then, we're going to maybe potentially dabble with some corporate work. We're going to dabble with some sports teams and seeing where this may go and all these different possibilities of being able to provide support for people and build a team of coaches. And it's like, oh yeah. And it's all great. But it's like, okay, 6 is in front of your face. Master that, Ryan. And that's something I forgot about until today. We had this conversation before we hit record, and legitimately I wrote it down, 6 inches, because I had pulled up content that I had written years ago before I wrote my book. And it was content that I had kind of used to write the book, but a lot of it didn't make it into the book. And one of the things I had pulled up was to stay in the fight, keep coming, no matter what. Focus that 6 inches in front of your face and just go as far as you can see. It's just, it can't be overlooked. So what that looks like from an actionable step, and I'll start and then you can wrap us up. Okay. Actionable steps. First of all, sometimes you just need new information. Sometimes, because there's more that we don't know than we do know. Even if you think you know a lot, right? You've been around the block, whatever it is. Sometimes you need a new perspective. You need new information about human experience, about business, about life, about parent, whatever it is, right? So what that may look like is, you could find that in a podcast, a book, or maybe some mentorship, right? So an actionable step is to look around and to find somebody who maybe is living in a way where you're like, what do they know? I would love to know what they know. And that was actually one of the main things that in my last couple of years of hiring different coaches, the question I keep asking people, I'm like, do you know anybody who's built a service industry business and a coaching business at the same time? And everybody's like, that's who I want to meet. Yeah. That's the person I want to talk to, because how did you do it? How'd you do it? I haven't found that person yet. So anybody out there listening, if you know somebody who's done that, I would love for you to connect me with that person. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to write the playbook myself. But so finding somebody in your life, or that you can follow, or that you can then reach out to, that is living a life that you maybe desire. Maybe that's just as simple as they're being the kind of father you want to be, right? And so, and then, master the ability to set micro goals. And micro goals there's 2 components to them. They're achievable and they're measurable, right? To like today, and I achieved it. It's a goal that I know I can achieve, and it's a goal I know I can measure. And that releases dopamine, and that keeps you going. Because the dopamine is this feel-good chemical that gets released that says, oh, do that again. do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to reach goals. If your goal is too big, you won't be rewarded. And reward doesn't mean a piece of chocolate or money or acknowledgement from somebody else. Like reward actually means the hormonal chemical dump into your body that tells you get up tomorrow and do it again. Keep going no matter what, right? And finding those little micro wins.
Mm-hmm.
So mastering the ability to set micro goals. So the dopamine just keeps getting released, because that's how it gets released, is that I achieved the goal. It's a measurable goal. I can see that was a win. I moved what I tell you. How are we going to move the needle? That's what I care about. Like just moving the needle. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say also acknowledging yourself all along the way, because if you think about the little baby learning to walk or something, we've all seen kids going through this process. The goal is to be totally mobile and up and walking. Doesn't happen that way. It's scooting and crawling and holding on to furniture and all the things that they do along the way, but we don't look at them and say, oh yeah, you're only crawling. I mean, you should be walking. So, let me know when that happens. And we don't acknowledge it, right? We're like, yeah, you did it. You did it. You did it again. Like give yourself that kind of acknowledgement along the way for these little micro goals, for these babies, that celebrate it, because reaching your goals should be fun. And if it's not fun, then why are we doing it in the first place? So we've got to be able to shift our attitudes towards ourselves when we're working towards something, and really celebrate those little wins and give yourself credit, because you'll have a heck of a lot more fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it for today.
Right, so just go as far as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the fight. Keep coming. Just focus on the 6 inches in front of your face. Have the big goal. Have the big vision. Mm-hmm. And then come back down and ask yourself, what can I do right now? What can I do today?
Set micro goals, accomplish them, and celebrate yourself. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi, for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thank you for listening. Remember, leaders go first, alignment matters, and the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.